What's up, guys? Tony here with Racoma, and right next to me I got the host of our hit show, Embroidery Hub, Willie. And today you might be wondering what we're doing here. We're coming at you with a new series, and I'm gonna have Willie tell you about it.
Well, instead of you guys critiquing my job and all my embroidery under the comments, today we're going to be critiquing yours.
That's right. In our Facebook group, Embroidery and Custom Apparel Mastery, there's tons of people posting their finished products and they're asking for critiques.
Now, there are two different animals. You have the embroidery part and then you have the digitizing part. So we're gonna be critiquing them as one.
And just to make things interesting, we're going to be giving away a 3-month subscription to hoopmade.com for the person in the comments below that can provide some really constructive criticism to some of the folks that we're going to be reviewing here today.
Now, Tony, for those that don't know what Hoopmade is a website that we created that you're able to go in there and get any designs that you have. So you have holidays, you have seasons. The best part of it is that they're digitized ready. So I've never seen these posts before. I'm going to give my critique, but before I do so, I would like for Tony as a customer, because since he has a little bit less experience with embroidery, he's probably gonna see it as a customer more than what I can look at little details here and there. So it'll be really good for you to start off and see them first, and then I'll go ahead and if I see something, I'll tell you, what about this? What about that? Maybe you didn't see that, right?
All right, let's get started.
Let's go. So I want to start off by saying that embroidery is a learning process. Some people get it really quickly and some other just need a little bit more repetition to get to where you need to be. One of the ways that I've improved my skills is by having other people that are more skilled than I am critique my work. So if you're submitting photos in order to receive critiques from others, I would say that they're on the right path.
Yeah. So everybody that submitted, every photo we go over today is from somebody in our Facebook group, Embroidery and Custom Apparel Mastery. They submitted a photo and they wrote on the caption, "What do you guys think? Give me a critique." So that's where we got our selection, and you know, everybody feel free to submit your photos on there and ask for critiques, and you know, maybe we'll get to those in future videos. But for now, let's just go over the rating system that we have. We got number 1, go to our YouTube channel, check out our Embroidery Hub episodes, check out our Apparel Academies, or even give us a call.
Yeah, we love calls. As long as you give us a call, we'll be able to guide you if you need more guidance.
Yeah. Number 2 is this thing's almost there, just with a little bit of fine tuning, a little bit of fine adjustments that hopefully we can talk about today. This thing is ready to go to a client. Number 3, this thing's ready to ship. Pack it up, ship it, collect your paycheck, we're good to go.
But there's always little adjustments that you could make that you see it, but the customers don't.
And number 4, this is a finished product that you want to be taking pictures, taking nice photos of, posting it to social media, bragging about it a little bit, showing your potential clients, hey, check out this work that I've done. Number 5, this thing is world class. This is like, I don't know how many, we're not going to be giving out too many 5s. This is like top of the line. You're the best in the business if you can get a 5, right?
Yeah. In other words, if you get a 5, you can come and sit next to me next time.
Huh? All right, in no particular order, let's get started with the first posting.
Okay, let's do it. You know what? Go ahead and do the honors.
Okay. All right, Antonio Alvarado, he says, this one was a big order. Finished making 300 iron-on patches for a client. I personally love the way it turned out. You guys share your thoughts. All right, I'll quickly share my thoughts. My thoughts are, I love the photos, first of all. I love how you stacked all the patches on top of each other. This is really cool. If you ever want to show this to a client, I love just the attention to detail there and just taking a nice photo, first of all.
I mean, right away, if I get this picture, if I'm a customer and I get this picture, I'll be like, wow, that's cool. You did 300. That's a lot. I have to say, awesome job with 3D puff. I could tell this is 3D puff, and it's a long satin stitch. As you can see, there's a lot of long satin stitches there. So that's really awesome that you're able to make this work with this kind of font, because a lot of times when the fonts end up like in a square, like in some areas there, not as a point, which you also have that in some areas, that comes out sometimes a little rough, but you actually made it work. Now, what I do have to say is the diamond. The diamond looks awesome from halfway down, but the top looks a little bit busy. I wouldn't put so many details on the top. I'll probably take some out. So on this case, I would give you a 3.5. I have to give it to you because if you did 300 of those, it's very difficult to get them all to be exact and to come out as perfect. I bet some of them came out better than others. The one on top looks a little messy, doesn't mean the rest look the same way. But yes, everything else came out perfect.
All right, next up we got one from DGM Bordados y Estampados. They say, this is my first attempt at 3D puff. We did it almost by force by a client. We did it almost forced by a client. I don't have experience digitizing 3D either, but what do you think?
I don't see anything wrong with the 3D puff, and this is the first time he does 3D puff. But I don't see anything wrong with the 3D puff. There's a video there as well. I'm just gonna play it really quickly. Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with the 3D puff. So what I could say about this is maybe those letters, maybe the letters you could add a little bit of pull push composition, and I would definitely recommend on the font that you're using for the 3D puff. Some letters are, like for example, the O and the M, they're perfect. The I as well, and then the E, you can start seeing where you have that split in between. So I'm definitely gonna give this a 4.0. Man, you color match those hats to that thread incredibly great. So I have to give it to you, good job. And definitely those letters are very thin. So I would probably make those a little thicker by adding a little bit of pull push composition. But overall, this is a 4.0.
So you think not only is this ready to go to a client, you think it's one step further and it's ready to go on a website. Like if a client ever asks him, hey, do you know how to do 3D puff? He should send him this and be like, hey, I've done 3D puff before. This is what I would. Okay.
Yep, definitely.
Cool. That's awesome. So have you ever had a client ever come to you and be like, hey, like, and ask you to do something you didn't know how to do, like?
A lot of times, yeah, a lot of times. Sometimes that's the way it goes. Sometimes your clientele just wants something else. For example, recently I've had one of my friends ask me if I know how to do a dog collar, and I said, well, you don't get those often. But where he lives by, there's PetSmart next to him. There's a mall, and those are the things that you say, okay, well, if you can't do it, then you got to try, right? Some way, somehow. Now, this, I'm not sure if this is lucky. I think he got a really good head start, or he probably did a couple of those before he even pushed them out. But definitely no issue with the 3D puff. Your 3D puff is perfect. Leave it as is.
All right, so here we got one from George Lorenzo. He says, made with my EM1010. What do you guys think? Got a mask design here. I haven't seen one of these masks walking around, so I mean, just on the surface, this design looks pretty nice. Colors are good.
I think these threads that he's using are not the yellow, but they're actually metallic gold. So that's what it looks so shiny. That's what I think it is. And let me tell you something. Metallic thread is a pain. It's not easy. It's a tough thread to work with. And this looks like it's over 20,000 stitches. So I have to say, wow, if it is. If it's not, then it's still great. It really is, because it looks real nice. Now, if I could say something about it, which unfortunately I have to say that the part where you have some stitches over on the orange part, they look like run stitches. It looks on just one picture, it looks in one area right here, you can see right there. It looks kind of like a little bit messy here. Not sure what happened there. I'm not sure if you even needed some run stitches there. Maybe just leaving it as is could have been perfect, but maybe he did that, he or she, I'm sorry, did that to have those satin stitch stick down. So if that's the case, great idea. But I think in that case, maybe just use one run stitch and use lower your length of each stitches. But other than that, man, whew, I have to give this, because I haven't seen a mask this nice, I have to give this a 4.5.
4.5.
Yeah.
So almost like a perfect score.
Yeah. That's an awesome job.
Gotcha.
So definitely that's a 4.5.
Nice. Cool. All right. Thank you, George, for submitting that photo. All right. Moving on. So Mark Solu posts an image and he says, digitized for our client. What do you think? From a customer standpoint, this looks fine to me. I can't really see any problems with it. What do you think?
All right, so I think that this is more of shattered glass.
Shattered glass.
That's what it looks like to me. It could be bolts too. But
Like electricity or something.
yeah, this is not easy to do.
Yeah.
This, you could tell they used a regular complex fill in the back, and then they used some satin stitches, and then farther away they just used some run stitches. That's awesome. I gotta say, this is really, really good. If I have to change anything at all in this design, I would probably change the border, the blue one, make it thicker just so it can stick out, you know, make it really stand out. Other than that, I'll probably just change the black to a satin stitch, or just make the border of the letters thicker. But it's definitely missing a little bit of, you know, a little bit of touch to have that wow effect, right?
Spice it up a little bit.
Yeah, but overall, that's really difficult to do. Just digitizing it. I really like this design. I give this design a 3.5.
Here's kind of a cool one by Mia Wright. She said, thought I should try something new today. Made a double applique with 3D puff. Yellow and white in the eye is applique. Black and white outline is 3D puff. Share your thoughts. I love this design. Like, it's such a cool design, and the fact that, you know, she's doing something different. Like, it could have been a complex fill for the yellow, and then the outline with the 3D puff, or you know, it could have been you know, something a little bit more simple. But she chose to use the applique and the 3D puff, which is like, to me, it just gives it like that luxury sort of feel, like that, you know, that high-end feel to it, and it just makes it a little bit more animated. Like, this thing looks like it's moving. I do see a little bit of wavering in the applique material. I don't know if you, like, maybe I'm being nitpicky, but like, do you think that's just something that happens, or?
Whew, man, I have to say, for such a simple design,
Yeah.
that detail that you put into it, that work that you put, just 3D puff and 2 appliques. For a simple design, you just made this, you made a lot of people look bad, gotta say. Because, you know, you made it onto yourself difficult, but at the same time, the design itself is so simple. And I mean, those 3D puffs, that right there, I think she's probably using more than 2 millimeters for sure. I would say that's probably like 4 millimeter. Now, yes, you're definitely right. There is a little bit of some waves around. So you probably could have used like an adhesive spray just so you don't get that. But other than that, oh my God, this is the best you can get, right? Just for such a simple design. I was almost about to give it a 5.0, almost this close, but I have to give it a 4.7.
4.7. So that's the best we've rated. Yeah, it's super cool. I'd love to see more of these designs coming through. All right.
No.
So we got one here. Who's this from?
I don't know, but that's an awesome digitizing and awesome embroidery.
Well, let's go in. Let's zoom in a little bit and make sure this is up to speed here. We got one from a guy named Willie. Nice cap. Nice, you know, love the ocean theme. What was this for?
That was a test. That was trying to show off some skills that I didn't have yet.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Well, when was this?
That was like about, I would say like around 2 years ago.
I love the design. I could see some obvious things in the Bracoma letters that are definitely a little off, but, and then maybe like, I don't know if there's a way to make the tips of the teeth sharper, like make those like super, you know, because like some of them are kind of crooked. And so how would you, like, looking back on this, like how would you change it? Like what would you do differently?
I actually redid that one. This one I did like, I think I did 3 of them before I got to the main one. Yes, the tips came out horrible because what I did was I left it like a triangle. Instead of leaving it as a triangle, what I did afterwards, I fixed that issue, was kind of make it like, instead of the pointy, just make it square, and then the threads themselves will make the triangle. And that's something I actually learned. The letterings, yes, the letterings, I should have definitely chosen better letters for this. there's too many skinny parts, and the foam that I was using was a little bit too thick. This is definitely one of my low times, I would say, but I made up for it, so I definitely have to come up and show you guys how it came up after all the testing was done, after I learned, after all the critiques I had behind.
So you got some critiques to help you out with
I definitely did. I got a lot, actually.
So that's pretty cool. So like, you would say you've improved a lot over the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Cool. Cool. I do like the design though.
Ah, I gotta kill you! Woo! You got me sweaty on that one, man. You got me nervous. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, how can I get out of this?
Well,
one?
we gotta keep your reputation intact, like for all the people at home. You know, you know, come on.
Run a test, guys. I'm telling you.
Run a test.
Yeah. I messed up a couple of hats because I didn't run my test.
This is from Tani Martinez Sanz. She says, "Hi, what are you guys thinking about this? I appreciate your input." All right, so what kind of garment is that? That looks like an apron or something.
Yeah, it looks like an apron.
And it's like a recycling symbol.
Yeah. That's a pretty thick material. It's not extremely thick, but it's most of those you don't even need stabilizer.
Most of those you don't even need stabilizer.
Yeah, they always. I mean, if I were to be them, I would just probably use some maybe some tearaway.
I mean, to be honest, this design looks pretty good. No major issues that I can see off the bat. I'm interested to hear how you think. It looks like there's some. I don't know how they got this like wavy thing. I think it's meant to be that way.
Yeah, they meant to do that.
Like I don't know, like how do you even get that? Because like to me that's the coolest part of this design is how that it looks like it's a flag or something, and it actually looks like it's waving. I really like that. I would say after zooming into this, I do notice a little bit of bleed through the complex fill of the garment. That's probably the major issue there, but I'm interested in hearing what you think about those two things I just pointed out.
So yeah, so that's the kind of satin stitch that it's not meant to be so long. So good job on that. You have a satin stitch that cuts midway, and then you have it going towards the other side. So when you wash it and while you're working, obviously this is most likely going to be a uniform. So you definitely have some, when you're washing it, you're definitely gonna have, if you have a long satin stitches and you wash it, then you're gonna get all that to be kind of like fluffy, and little by little it'll start coming out. So with this, you're taking that out of the equation. So meaning this will last you a longer period of time, and you could work through it without an issue. But yes, that bleed through, that's definitely right. So in this case, when you see some of that blue on the gray, you can see there's actually it's everywhere on that gray. What I would do in this case is not increase the density, but decrease the length of the stitches. So the density, you might not want to have too much density on this, just because you don't want it to start wrinkling or have to use a really thick stabilizer so it doesn't wrinkle. So just use just change your stitch length to being a little shorter. Maybe I would say a 2.3 around there of length. Now, I think the bigger issue here would be the letters. So you have a complex fill with tatami stitches going side to side, right? And then you have the letters as satin stitches, but some of them also go side to side. So what happens is they kind of hide in there. So what you want to do in this case, you want to get the complex fill, the tatami stitches, and angle them. And then the satin stitches, you can leave the same, or you could even add some pull-push compensation, but definitely will change the whole aspect, the whole look of those fonts just by changing the tatami stitch in the back. Now, just an angle. You don't have to change it to a different type of complex fill. It's just the angle. But other than that, this is for work, I would say. This is really nice. I'll rate this a 3.5.
3.5. So this is ready for a client, ready to ship for a client, almost at the point where you would want to put this on your portfolio, put this on your website, use that as an example of what you can do. So maybe implementing a couple of those small changes might get that to portfolio ready work.
Correct, yeah.
Cool. All right, there you have it, folks. That wasn't so bad, was it?
There was one part that was bad. Other than that, everything else was good.
Come on.
All right, guys, so if you want us to critique your work, you want us to give you a rating, you want to find that 5.0, then go ahead and write it down in Facebook. Write a comment and make sure that you put, please rate my work. And we'll put it in this show on the next episode.
Go to our Facebook group, Embroidery and Custom Apparel Mastery. Join the group. Feel free to post. We got a great community there.
Now, if you guys see something that I missed or that Tony missed out on, please feel free to write it down in the comments below. This way we all help each other, and what we're creating here is a community to help each other proceed and get better at our craft.
We will see you guys next time. We will be here because we love talking about custom apparel, embroidery, digitizing everything. All right? So, Willie, see you next time.
See you guys next time.
All right. Thanks.
Killed it.